So how are all of these thoughts and feelings, conscious and both unconscious, contributing to the challenges we're having in our physical body? When we have experiences in our lives that overwhelmed us emotionally or brought us a lot of pain, what we're finding is that there are these protective mechanisms that help us to overcome and survive these experiences. These protective mechanisms actually take these experiences and suppress them, not just in our mind, but in our body. And the evidence of that suppression is muscular tension.
First of all, to understand how the emotion code works, you have to understand that the human body is really nothing but energy. If you look at your hand, for example, that hand looks pretty solid. But if you were to magnify that hand 1,000,000 times, you'd be looking face to face with a single individual atom. And if you could look into that atom, you'd see there's really nothing in there but empty space and infinitesimally tiny energies zipping around at the speed of light. And that's really what we are. We're beings of pure energy. We are composed of all these countless energies, tiny energies, that are all flying in this close formation, giving us this experience that we're having in this world.
Emotion means energy movement. And it's our thoughts that create our emotions. It's our emotions that create our behaviors.
So when a person has a conflict, that creates neural pathways in our brain. This amazing cutting-edge Dr. Hammer was able to map out the brain. When you look at a non-contrast CAT scan, you can see a dot with concentric rings, like a bullseye. And what he found is that if a person had testicular cancer or ovarian cancer, that spot would be at the same location in the brain for all of the people. And he would ask the people, hey, what did you just experience? And they would talk about loss of children. His premise is that the brain will download all of our emotions first.
When we feel an emotion strongly enough, what we're really feeling is a vibrational energy. Every emotion has its own specific vibrational frequency. Anger is a different emotional energy, a different frequency, a different vibration than frustration, and that's different than sadness, and they're all different. But when you're feeling an intense emotion, your whole being can take on this vibration, and it's during those times that sometimes the energy of that emotion that you're feeling is too powerful, and that energy can become trapped and stuck in the body. And because that's all the body really is an energy field, when you distort that energy field, you eventually start to have problems, because what you're really doing is you're distorting the tissues of the body themselves. And if you distort tissue and you irritate tissue long enough, that tissue starts to have problems, and it can go through those changes that we call cancer.
One of the most amazing substances in our body is connective tissue. There's more connective tissue in our body than any other tissue. What's connective tissue? It's a protein. It consists of actually several proteins. One is collagen, the other is elastin. Collagen gives fascia strength, while elastin gives it flexibility. Literally everything in your body is surrounded and interconnected in this fabric. So your big toe is connected to your right ear through a connective tissue network. The other amazing function of connective tissue is that it's conductive of energy. So when we protect ourselves from an overwhelming emotional or physical experience, our body goes into a protective state which causes muscles to contract. The muscles contract, and then the surrounding connective tissue begins to be strained by those contractions, causing it to thicken and bond to each other and harden.
The only disease that exists in the human experience is chaos at the atomic level, which leads to chaos at the molecular level, which leads to chaos at the cellular level. And when enough cells are in chaos, you feel it as a sign or a signal of a chaos or an offense in the body. That's what the word symptom means, a sign or a signal of a chaos.
So the accumulation of suppressed emotion and stress and pain creates tensions that begin to layer upon layer and accumulate over time and begin to act upon our joints, our blood vessels, our organs. This phenomenon of contracted muscle and hardened, restricted connective tissue is what's referred to as body armor.
I think it's the AMA says 80% of all health issues are stress-related.
Your body is your unconscious mind. It doesn't know the difference between an experience in your life that creates an emotional response and an emotion that we fabricate by thought alone. To the body, it's believing it's in the same environmental conditions. So it's a scientific fact that the chemicals of stress dysregulate and downregulate our genes that create disease. It's a fact. So if we can turn on a stress response just by thought alone, and those chemicals can make us sick, then by very definition, our thoughts can make us sick.